Welcome to Healthy Futures in Milford. We are blessed today to have a guest from Community Impact Incorporated, Amy Leone. Welcome, Amy.
Hi.
I'm Lisa Vasile, and I work with the entire group of the Healthy Futures. I try very hard to do as much as I can with the community, and luckily we get to have this wonderful show that has different guests and different subjects about the community itself. One of the things that we talked about in the spring was this, I'm sure you've read this report. It was a report that we all went over in the committee. The Milford students were able to fill out. It's an adolescent health survey put out in Metro West by the Education Development Center. And one of the biggest things that we were surprised by, although not totally surprised, I guess more surprised by why and how, was the increase in reporting of self-injury, cyberbullying, considering suicide, and this was all through all different grades. And so I guess one of the reasons I thought I'd have you come in today was to talk a little bit about this. Have you seen things in your practice working with adolescents as far as trends are concerned with these type of self-reporting or even people coming into your office with these kind of complaints?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, over the course of the year, we've definitely seen more kids coming in much more stressful, complaining about anxiety or depression, or having the parents call because they found out that they're now cutting. And one of the things that when you start to attribute back to, when did the cutting behavior start or what kind of precipitated it, what we're finding a lot in our practice with some of the adolescents starting, from 7th grade all the way up, but it seems to be most prominent with like those 7th, 8th graders, that they really have these high expectations for themselves. They're really searching for this type of perfectionism, and they get very frustrated by any type of negative feedback that they receive and not knowing how to cope with it. And so from when you look at a lot of different research, or even when they're on Facebook or Tumblr or any of these different websites, they have all these blogs about how much like cutting relieves your stress and it will do this for you, or something like that then they just catch on and they experiment with it. And then if it works for them, it starts to just continue to be a habit that's formed. So we're definitely seeing a lot more depression, anxiety, self-injury, and then as they get older, it's starting to move into substance issues. So we're seeing that a lot this year, more cases than we have in the past. So,
and you touched base on the Tumblr and Twitter, and I'm seeing Instagram and other things happening. What kind of things could we talk about as the community and those of us in Healthy Futures reaching out in education with the community as to support these young kids, the adolescents, and as they get older? I guess A, what are we looking for? B, is there something that we can do, whether we watch over them, that whole secrecy thing? Where does that leave us as the caretakers?
I think like one of the things, definitely like Tumblr is almost like a blog that kids will just write on. And so you can blog about different types of things such as cutting, or it could be about a music group that you follow and you love or whatever. But it's basically like an online journal, and people will repost or post about, different things that they relate to. It's very strong among like the kids who have eating disorders or body image issues. There's pictures that you can repost. And I think basically asking your children to see their Tumblr account, to be able to look at what they're posting and what they're blogging, making sure that you have the passwords to things. Like I know Instagram is another one. There's different, you can post pictures and make comments and stuff, but as a parent, you pay the cell phone bill, or you pay the cable bill or the internet bill, that you should be able to see those things too. And I think also as a community, understanding and teaching the kids, like in some of my girls group, we're working on, I have a DBT group, which is basically teaching kids coping mechanisms to deal with either eating disorders or self-injury or depression or whatever their emotional needs are, and really teaching them what it means by the different posts that they're posting on Facebook, like their different statuses, and how there are different messages that can be perceived by what they're posting. whether it's like somebody's posting like something that's informative or interesting, you know, maybe it's a link to an article. And then you go into the whole thing about how many of the posts that you read that's on your news feed are kind of like narcissistic. They're trying to get some, you know, attention. They're craving attention and posting something. And as a parent, those are the things you want to be aware of, because some of the kids are posting statuses that are very attention seeking, and they're craving that attention, and that can be one of the signs that we need to, you know, to watch out for what's going on, or what is that, you know, message actually meaning. Or there's jealousy. I mean, so many things that you read when when you read some of the adolescents posting, there's very jealous induced postings where they're jealous of somebody who has something else, or someone who got onto a team that they didn't get onto, or, you know, something where they're trying to create an image for themselves that they're not, but they're wanting to be perceived that way. So it's really teaching them and understanding what all these statuses mean, because it can lead you into understanding more about what your child is doing or what they're going through, and some of that frustration that they're having. And so it's really a lot of education and understanding as a community to really, or as a parent, to just know what's going on with your kids.
And it's hard to keep up with, because I know whether they change their passwords or, you know, as a parent of 3 teenagers, it's hard to even know which sites are popular now. You know, with adolescents, a lot of them don't do Facebook anymore. They're right into Instagram, or they're right into the Tumblr, or they're right into the tweets. And do you ever talk to the kids that when you're counseling with them or in these groups, do you ever talk to them about appropriate posting or unfriending things that are not necessarily?
We definitely talk about like their posts, and sometimes I'll even have, like, in individual sessions, have them bring up their Facebook or their Tumblr or whatever, so that we can actually look at it together and, you know, ask them what were they thinking when they posted that, or what made them, you know, feel that they needed to post a status like that or a blog like that or something, so that they can look at it from another perspective. Because, you know, as they're posting it, they're all emotional, or, you know, they're happy or sad or anxious or whatever. And so stepping back and being able to be in that moment to say, okay, how could this be perceived by other people?
Right, but even the perception of, say, you aren't invited to a party, or even if it's just a cookout during the summer, whatever it may be, and this person is supposed to be a friend of yours, you're not invited, and yet there's 17 pictures on Twitter or on Instagram, and you're not there. And right away, that sort of immediate pressure with social media is so relevant that it wasn't 10, 15, 20 years ago. They didn't have that kind of in your face.
Right. And now, you know, it's very, and even with the tweets, because everybody's getting a tweet that says, you know, party at such and such, but you're not included, or what, you know, things like that. So we really talk about in some of the groups, or even individual, talk about how do you cope with that fact that you're kind of left out, or how do you deal with that, you know, lack of being included. And do you, you know, speak up to your friends and say how you felt, or do you kind of like defriend them, or whatever it is, block them on Facebook, or whatever the things are? And how does that pan out? Because sometimes the kids will have more, they'll say they'll get more backlash based on the fact that they defriended them, or they then won't know what's going on if they defriend them. So how do you actually use your voice to talk about how you felt, which is the most important thing, because now kids are communicating more social media wise, versus actually having a conversation with someone. So that's one of the biggest things, is, you know, how to talk to somebody. And some kids don't know how to do that anymore.
Well, and I think that comes down to us too, right, as parents, because I can be the first to admit that sometimes I'll be trying to send something and my child will be talking to me, and so I'm to blame. I can't imagine that all grown-ups can't say at some point that they haven't been with their face on some sort of a screen, whether it be a laptop or their phone. And in that too, where I noticed a couple times when I've seen things go through my kids, and they, you know, either they'll post a picture, or a friend will post a picture, and somebody will comment back saying, "Love yourself much?" or something that's just sort of a little bit derogatory, when, you know, so many people are posting selfies and whatever. You know, that to me, I can see where that pain would come in. And then you've got the people that are posting things that are not real true, you know, these photos that are quite risque. You know, I can see where all of this might stem from. And so the community here watching besides being sort of overlooking and saying that's not okay and let's talk about that, is there anything else that we can do?
I think like as we talk about with, parents or just being a parent myself, talking to my son, he wanted Snapchat. Well, understanding the fact that how terrible that can be too, because things are gone within 5 seconds. And I think as a parent, learning more about what the internet, what is capable of doing, and kind of what, some of the different, restrictions there are, because even Snapchat, you have to be 18 to have it, but then you can put somebody else's birthday in and still get it.
Right. All of the things, yeah. And so along that same line, when you're talking with people about self-love and really truly trying to strengthen them, there is a lot of research out there about food, exercise, and how that obviously makes us all healthier.
Right.
And since this is Healthy Futures, we like to sort of pull in the fact that this is all one, table, the 3 legs of the table, so to speak. Is there a way that, have you ever heard of a connection with the food and mood, and how, what you put in can really change someone's?
And we definitely do a lot, like in our practice. I mean, we have a lot of looking at the different holistic view of things, whether it's, we have a yoga studio, and, so trying to look at, exercise and being present in that moment. And we ran some teen yoga classes, for the summer and starting last year, just to get the kids to get away from the cell phone, to learn what it's like to be in the moment, in their body, understanding, their emotions and what's going on. We do it also for older kids, a recovery to get the exercise, but to also, we've been to ABT with athletic-based training, and we've run some self-esteem groups with Leanne over there, trying to get exercise and kind of that self-image, self-awareness, classes together. And then also looking at the food, with For Better Health, we look at that, and different vitamins that the kids are lacking, because you hear so many times that they have no vitamin D, but what other things, aren't they getting in their food diet that could be contributing to some of the emotions, and, looking at different things like that, because it's better to look at the food intake versus prescribing them some type of medication. So that's always the first thing before referring
we
them
did
off.
a quick show. One of our shows was on making smoothies and how easy it is to add in nutrients that we're lacking. Not so much take the processed food out, which would be great if we didn't go to McDonald's every day, or at least once a week. But certainly, even if you just add food, nutrients in that we're missing, and how much that can really affect. I would definitely the mood, the sleep, the energy, the grades, everything else.
Especially the sleep and just the attention too. That when you ask them, we'll do like a food inventory of what they're eating, for snacks, or what's their, when you have kids that have, body image issue, what's their safe foods. And, it could be like those Ritz crackers and peanut butter. Okay, so what else, where can you put in different things? They're eating pasta all the time and macaroni and cheese, and there's no vegetables or fruits. And how can you do that if you're on a low income budget? How can you still supplement those things? And so we definitely do that when we're in the group, really looking at, or even individually, what is the food intake, because it does have a huge, impact on what they're eating.
Yeah, and I think you were telling me that there was a couple clients that you treated, even just B vitamins, changed them from night to day.
I mean, completely different from the anxiety level, of them being very, hidden and just very closed, to coming in, a week or two later and talking in group and just being very outgoing and amazing.
That's great.
So,
well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ellen Freedman, and I'm here today talking about Healthy Futures Milford. I work at Milford Regional Medical Center and Community Benefits, and we are launching a campaign in Milford around healthy eating and donations with the Daily Food Pantry. So I am joined today with members of Healthy Futures Coalition and also partners on this campaign. So I just wanted each one of you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are and your job.
Hi Ellen, I'm John Burnham, the store manager at Hannaford Supermarket, and we're very happy to be a partner with Healthy Futures and supporting this initiative to get healthy donations for the food pantry.
Great.
And I'm John Deangelo. I'm the president of the food pantry here in Milford, Daily Bread Food Pantry, and we're quite thankful for your interest in helping us and those in need.
And I'm Cheryl Deangelo, Pantry Manager and Board of Director of the Daily Bread Food Pantry.
So we have a lot of other members as part of Healthy Futures, but this is really the core group that's starting to look at this problem about need for healthy foods and need for more foods for the food pantry. So, John, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what types of needs does this community have? What are the needs in this community?
Okay, I think that it's just not this community, but in any community, basically 1 out of every 3 children in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is at risk of hunger every day. And so it's just not a rural or an urban condition. It's throughout the entire United States. And what we experience here in Milford is similar to what happens in other communities. So we have a significant number of families and individuals that are in need of food. Right now we take care of about 350 families, more than 1,050 individuals on a monthly basis. And who we try to serve those that are having difficulty meeting the basic necessities of life with their incomes. So they don't have sufficient income to take care of food, medicine, rent, and clothing. So the Daily Bread Food Pantry, which is an ecumenical food pantry, nonprofit organization, is supported by just about every church in Milford. And we have over 150 volunteers. No one's paid. The good Lord and Holy Mother takes care of everything in all honesty. And we always can use the food. We've never run out. We've been doing it for 22 years. And we've been blessed. And we're blessed by the people that we serve. And whatever help that we can get, we're greatly appreciative.
Thank you. Well, we've been really happy to partner with the food pantry and with Cheryl, who's been participating in this campaign, which is really to change a couple things, to change the types of food that people donate to the food pantry, but also to encourage people to choose healthy foods for themselves, which they may already be doing. But it's really whatever you may be eating at home and making healthy choices, also those same choices can be for the food pantry. So Cheryl, are you seeing that this is going to help people donate differently in the future?
Yes, people will be more aware of if we ask for sugar-free or low sodium or low fat, they're more apt to buy that as opposed to just getting the regular type of food item. Because we do have people that have other needs that we don't, special needs that we don't necessarily have the food for. So this will be a good thing.
And we're hoping that just the general population can eat healthier in general. We did put together some food donations, a food donation list, and this is available at the food pantry that just recommends food guidelines that are for healthy eating for all. So John, why don't you tell us how Hannaford's got involved or is participating?
Sure. Well, Hannaford Supermarkets has a very strong commitment to supporting our local communities. We generally use some filters to decide how and when we do that. We look at things that are going to help families, children, and in particular health. And so this initiative that Healthy Futures is driving is perfect for what we're looking to support. And being a member of the Healthy Futures Coalition made it easy to get involved. So it really worked out for us to partner with you on that.
Yeah. So what we're able to see now is when you walk into Hannaford stores, there is a display, right, that has all the recommended or many of the recommended foods and has signage to say, pick up one for yourself, pick up one for the food pantry. And then when people check out, they can just purchase the food and then leave it there.
Yep,
is that
absolutely.
how it's working?
Yep.
And then how often is the food brought over to the food pantry? Or?
We'll deliver the food to the food pantry on Mondays.
Okay, so every week?
Yeah, once a week.
Once a week, the food is donated. So we're running this the month of October, and there is a contest, right?
Yes.
So we're also rolling this out on a mobile network, and if you can text 88000, 88000, food 2, and when you type that in, you're entered in a contest to win a healthy tailgate. So we're proud to do this with Hannaford's because it was actually easy for us to think of foods that people would want for a tailgate party, and to select those from the store. And so there'll be how is that going to be delivered or presented?
Yeah, so we'll put together the package of the tailgate, the healthy tailgate package, and when a winner is chosen, they can come to the store and we'll get that to them.
Okay, so that's going to be for the month of October and November. We're doing that for 2 months.
Yes.
And the reason we started this was because the month of October is a time when there's more need in Milford. And Cheryl, you want to tell us a little bit about how that works in terms of when the need is the greatest in the community?
Well, what happens is during the summer months, when the schools get out, the donations are very low coming in. So June, July, and August are very low, and hunger doesn't go on vacation. And then September comes, and the children are just getting back to school, and it isn't until October that the donations start coming in a little heavier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, November and December, people are in the mood of giving, so November and December we get a lot of food, but January comes and then it slides down again.
So we hope to do this again throughout the year. But also, John, how do families become eligible for the food?
Again,
food
basically, any family we serve 3 towns, Milford, Upton, and Hopedale, and any family that's in need or any individual that's in need should just come straight to the food pantry, and they're always going to get food, and we do have a referral form for them for the next time that they come back. And what that basically, we're looking for anybody that's having, like I said, difficulty meeting the basic necessities of life. And the referral form allows the people to go to the welfare office or doctor's office or any of the clergy in the area, to teachers, to the principals, and anybody that can say that this family's in need and that they're all set. So they can come once a month. We have them come once a month, and we give out a significant amount of food. We have about 15 freezers and refrigerators, and some of the freezers are very big. They're chest freezers. They're always filled with meat and cheese and eggs and that type of stuff.
Let me ask you something, Cheryl, about some of the food donations. So if somebody wants to do a food drive, for example, the Boy Scouts or another group, what kinds of information do you need to provide for these groups?
Well, preferably we do not want any perishables. It has to be all non-perishable, nothing with glass, because we don't want anything to get broken. We prefer no expired food, no open containers, or no half-eaten products, because some people they tend to clean out their pantry.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the containers are not open, we're good. But they really should check their dates before they donate them.
And you really don't want a huge donation without you knowing that it's coming. I know the schools want to do something called Stuff a Bus,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great idea. So
Right.
the kids are collecting food and filling a school bus, driving it to the food pantry. But you want to know when those orders or
Yes.
those shipments are coming, right?
Right, because we have to make space accommodations.
Right.
Because if we can't put it in the building, then we're going to have to put it in another area for storage.
Yeah, it
The
comes
Milford
down
Youth Center.
to a point where it's
Storage.
timing. We want everybody to feel that they can contribute. It's just sometimes that they do these drives simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
and we just don't have even though we have a lot of room, we can't, that much food comes in. For example, the Boy Scouts will be doing a drive very shortly, and they do a significant food drive. And at the same time, we usually get hit with one of these Stuff a Bus, and it's just, I couldn't stuff another can in the pantry. So we don't want to go outside and bother other organizations and say, can you store this for us? So if they can do it, a month and a half,
timing,
yes,
right.
exactly,
It's the
it's timing. And I do want to say something about the volunteers. We have great volunteers, and we have 150 of them, and we never even ask for one. We never ask. They just come.
So if somebody wants to volunteer, they can just give you a call?
Absolutely.
and
They can call,
Yeah.
and there's all types of activities. There's so many groups of different volunteers that we have. We have volunteers like John's very perceptive. Monday night is donations for the public, general public. So between 6 and 7:30, people can drop things off. But during the week, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday mornings, we have a group in the pantry that stock the shelves. We have a crew that goes with my wife. We have the big truck. We go up to the food bank. We go buy things at all the different stores, and we bring that in. So there's different crews there. We have crews that go out and get bread and other types of things. Then we have we're open. You want to tell them when we're open?
Yeah, we're open Tuesday and Thursday evenings, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, and we have bigger crews there. So we have an intake person, a supervisor, and like 6 people in the back. It looks like a little store. We have it all set up like a mini Hannaford.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to them, but you know, with refrigerators and everything in one big room. And people go, when the people come in, we're computerized. And when they get a number, it prints out in this other room with all the volunteers in it. And it says, you know, number 1, the family size, if there's any dietary restrictions or anything like that. And then they pick, based on the family size, all the different products, and they wheel it out on a cart, and that's where the 15 or 16 big bags of food come out, and they give it to number 1. And
So, you know, unfortunately, people do need some help, is what we're talking about, and we want people to know that they can go to the food pantry, and it's not, there aren't a lot of barriers to getting the food. And also, we want people who are shopping for their groceries to be thinking about the food pantry, not just when there's a food drive, but all the time. But now there's a wonderful opportunity. They can go into Hannaford's, they can see the actual food that the food pantry needs and can use. It's right there on the shelves. They can go to their mobile phones and they can get the information there as well, so they don't necessarily have to be in the store. But we're trying to make this easy, right? And I think that this will be something that will start to change the culture. I think we've already seen that people are using this healthier food donation list because there's donations happening all over the place, not just when we're running this. So we also are going to have on the show people who are talking about recipes and healthy eating, and also a little bit more about healthy futures. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about the contest or the store, or how we said everything got set up just day one, right?
Yeah, we're up and ready to go. The display's been built, and we've seen some donations already starting to trickle in, and the bins are starting to fill up. And we're just excited and hoping that we can help the food pantry out. So
I think this is great that Hannaford is doing this. I mean, you've always been a great partner with Healthy Futures, and there was no question when we approached you for doing this. So that's just
they've always
really,
been a great partner with the Daily Bread Food Pantry,
right?
Especially John.
And the food and Healthy Futures Milford focuses really on healthy eating and on getting physical activity. And we've done some activities around walking around Milford, and even though we wanted people to promote healthy eating, we also want to recognize that not everybody can afford food or healthy food either. And we want to just address this issue of food security. It's not just about buying a certain product. It's really about thinking about others who may need food on their table. So we're glad we can really blend those two philosophies together. We have great support from the community on Healthy Futures, the coalition, and just really glad that you're involved. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Healthy Futures, and thank you, Nick.